Hey guys, today I'll show you the most effective way to escape from assault players and other tanks. And there you have it.
I am Batman. Average Sniper.
What's up guys, Average Sniper here, bringing you some Battlefield 1 sniping on this Wednesday morning, or whatever day and time it might be that you're watching this. And before I get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been participating in the live streams. It has been incredibly fun to start live streaming, learning more about all the technical details that go into it, and just being able to interact with you guys in real time. So that has been so much fun, and me and my friends have been fun doing the live streams with you guys. Well, having said that, let's get into this gameplay and let's get into the subject at hand. So this is a gameplay on Suez, and I'm using the Gewehr 98 for anyone that's interested. It is a really good sniper rifle. Not my favorite. I think my favorite is the Russian 1895, and I think the best sniper rifle is the SMLE Mark III Marksman. But having said that, I do find myself using the Gewehr 98 quite a lot for medium to longer range engagements. Now, one of the things, or the main thing I wanted to address in this video is I've been seeing a lot of comments. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I've been seeing a few comments and mentions of, is sniping too easy in Battlefield 1? And I wanted to go ahead and address that question, give you guys my opinion on it, and open up a dialogue in the comments and let you guys give your own opinions and start arguments and debates and all kinds of stuff like that if you want to. Because this is a touchy subject. You know, you got a lot of snipers out there who, if you tell them sniping's too easy, they'll be like, oh, no, sniping is so hard, you know, you just blah, blah, blah. And then you got people who will accuse anyone who says sniping is too easy of not being a sniper, of just being someone who's annoyed by getting sniped. Because we all know there's people like that out there who don't like getting sniped, so they complain and ask for the snipers to be nerfed and things like that. But I just want to get down to basics and give you my opinions as a Battlefield sniper. So I did a lot of sniping in Battlefield 4. I was a late bloomer. I did not come into Battlefield 4 until it had already been out for almost 2 years. My first Battlefield was actually Battlefield Hardline, and then after I got to max rank, I played Battlefield 4 and got to max rank on Xbox One and PC and had a great time doing it, and pretty much exclusively using the Recon class. So I do have some experience sniping, and I have been a video game sniper for many years now. Well, here's the main things I noticed in regards to, is sniping too easy in Battlefield 1? Well, first off, we have what's called sweet spots now, which allows the player to get a one-shot chest kill within a given range. This gives you a really good incentive to pick a different sniper rifle. See, in Battlefield 4, most of the sniper rifles were pretty similar. In fact, when I first started playing the game, I thought they were identical until I started noticing little differences like reload speed, bolt action speed, and muzzle velocity, I guess. The main thing that was pretty much it. But Battlefield 1, the sniper rifles are much more diverse, because if you want that one-shot chest kill, you're going to have to pick your sniper rifle based on your playstyle. If you play far away, you want to pick a sniper rifle like the M1903 or the Gewehr 98, which has a longer range sweet spot than the other sniper rifles. Of course, you can always get headshots for a one-shot kill, so if you're a beast at getting headshots, I guess it doesn't matter which sniper rifle you pick. But assuming you can't get a headshot every time you pull the trigger, this gives you a reason to pick a different sniper rifle. Now, the second thing that's different, and doesn't necessarily make it harder or easier, this is just different, is the muzzle velocity. So the bullets go much faster in Battlefield 1 than they do in Battlefield 4. And a lot of people are saying this is too OP. I don't think it's too OP, because the bullet drop has also changed too. So this will really only change when you're sniping somebody that's, I would say, within 175 meters. It seems that with most of the sniper rifles I use, I have to aim a little over their head once they're 175 meters out and further away. The bullet drop seems to increase so much more than it did in Battlefield 4. In fact, you can't even zero your scope past 300 meters in this game. And in Battlefield 4, you could zero your scope all the way out to 1,000 meters. So I think there was a lot more incentive to be a long-range sniper in Battlefield 4 than there is in Battlefield 1, because I do not feel the sniping is as effective at longer range. So I think that long-range sniping in Battlefield 1 is actually much harder than it was in Battlefield 4. Which is probably a good thing, because they didn't have the technology that they did back then, and it makes sense that it would be harder to shoot someone further away when you don't have all the scope attachments and instruments that you have in modern day times. So let's recap real quick. We have the sweet spots, which tends to make it a little easier for a close to medium range sniper. And if you consider long range between 100 and 150 meters, sure, it makes it easier for that too. Then we have the muzzle velocity, which is increased, which doesn't necessarily make it easier or harder. It's just an adjustment that you have to get used to. So for example, in Battlefield 4, you might have to lead a target that's moving sideways a little more than you do in Battlefield 1. Does that make it easier? Maybe just a little bit, because if they're running behind a wall, you might be able to get that shot off on them before they get behind the wall, whereas in Battlefield 4, you might not have been able to do that. So I guess that does add a little level of making the sniping just a little easier in Battlefield 1 compared to Battlefield 4. And then the third thing we talked about was the bullet drop. The bullet drop is different, and it makes it much harder to do long-range sniping. So as far as close to medium-range sniping goes, I think that's a little easier in Battlefield 1, but as far as long-range sniping goes, definitely harder, depending on what you consider long-range. Because long-range in Battlefield 4 probably would have been maybe 500 meters and out, but in this game, it might be 150 meters and out. Alright, so let's move on to the next topic, or the next point I have to make about whether sniping is easier or harder. And that's game modes and map design. So they introduced this game mode called Operations, which is what I'm playing right now. And it's basically supposed to simulate an army that's invading and an army that's trying to defend from the invaders. Now, as a sniper, if you're playing on defense, you're probably going to rack up a lot more kills. You're probably going to have a much better time than if you're on offense. Because when you're on offense, you're kind of at a little bit of disadvantage as far as your kill-death ratio might go. You have to rush in, and these guys already know you're coming, and they already know where you're coming from. So technically, they have the advantage. Now, it's fun to attack and it's fun to defend, but I always prefer to be defending on operations if I can, because that's just, it just works out better for a sniper. And that might be another reason why people think this game is easier, is because the operations game mode. Well, why people might think this game is easier for sniping is because of the operations game mode. I think the operations game mode, honestly, is a sniper paradise, but it depends on the operation that you're playing. There are a couple maps on operations that are more suited to assault, but the majority of the maps are going to cater to snipers. And this creates a little bit of a problem for me, I think, because there are so many snipers that I see camping in operations. Now, it's not wrong to have a few snipers out there popping people's heads and doing a little defense or offense, from a distance. But when you have 10 or more snipers on the same team just sitting close to the spawn on the attacking team, that is going to create a major problem. It's going to be almost impossible for the attacking team to win with a third of their team sitting on the base. So keep that in mind, guys. When you're playing operations, if you're attacking, attack. If you're defending, then camp as much as you want, as long as you're camping and defending those objectives. But I do think that's another thing that makes sniping, I wouldn't say necessarily easier or harder, but maybe a little more annoying than Battlefield 4. Now, Conquest is pretty much exactly the same. I think that in Conquest, the maps are just more open. Battlefield 4 also had a lot of open maps, but around the objective points, a lot of the objectives were not as open as they are in Battlefield 1, which also probably makes the sniping a little easier, adds to that argument. So overall, guys, I think the sniping in Battlefield 1 is just a little bit easier, but not considerably easier than the sniping in Battlefield 4. definitely still takes a lot of skill to be able to drop a lot of kills in a match where you're only using the scout class. So I hope this video has been informative, and I hope you found it interesting. This is purely just my opinion, just based on my experience with Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. But I'd love to read the comments and see you guys start some heated arguments about why you think the sniping is easier or harder. And I have heard a lot of people actually say they think the sniping is harder. Why is that? Let me know in the comments, guys. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay, and I hope you enjoyed the commentary. I'll see you on the next video, and I hope you have a great day. Later.